Hey everyone, welcome to season 2 of The Marketing Perspective. This is James Danella, and we have added some bells and whistles this season. We've also added video into what we're doing, so I'm very excited. Today, our topic is going to be social media, the state of social media. What's it like today versus what it was like 10 years ago? Personally, I find social media to be a little bit fake. Am I alone here? People putting their best foot forward, some lying about who they are. It's too much fake following fake, and it drives me nuts. And the worst part is sometimes people eat it up. I don't get it. Where are we headed as a people, as a society? We, at our firm, we try to educate businesses to be authentic, to do things in a way that are real, because as a consumer, we prefer real. Statistics are proving this. They don't want overproduced, over Hollywood commercials and things like that. We want real. We want people to talk to us, not at us. So if that's the truth, why are we being fake on social media? It makes no sense to me. The dysfunction that I see in social media is that it's attracting people that need constant affirmation, really need constant affirmation and approval as they become slaves to their phones and these social platforms. I don't believe it's what they were intended for. Do you? What's different from this than what's traditional boob tube 40 years ago? If you're old enough, you remember sitting in front of that TV. It's just an escape. And I don't believe that's what social media was intended for. I don't believe that Zuckerberg and all the greats came out and built this platform for us all to be zombies 20 years later. And honestly, I don't care what you had for breakfast. I don't care what you're wearing today. Stop posting that stuff. It means nothing to my life. I want real. I want genuine. I also don't care about your politics or your religion. Stop. I am looking to connect. As a consumer, I want to understand who you really are. I want to be a part of your life. If we're following each other or engaged to each other, I want to see real. Build virtual relationships to be real. Stop being fake. All right, that's just me. I also don't find it effective for you to state how awesome you are. Oh my gosh. As a marketing professional for a really long time, we, as a general rule, it's better when others say positive things about you versus you saying them. Just saying. So now, can social media still be an effective marketing tool? It can, when it's used correctly. I'm going to bring out our very special guest today, Laura Hausler.
Hi.
Laura at times works with Media Vision. She does a lot of our social and our SEO. She is a rock star. She also has her own independent company called You Flourish Digital. Laura, if you want to expand on that, please feel free to go ahead. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
I actually met James and his family a few years ago, and I'm just really honored to be able to work with Media Vision Advertising. And yeah, so as James mentioned, I do have my own little boutique agency. It's just a little one that focuses on SEO, but I work all digital social media and SEO for Media Vision, and I don't know. I have 5 kids and 5 animals, and I don't know what else I'm supposed to say about myself. But my life is just family, family, and work, and coffee. So that is it. That's all I
So you
got
have
for you.
big plans ahead. I know that. Big plans coming
Yes,
soon.
yes, very excited.
All right, Laura, let's dig in. We're going to have a lot of fun today because we know each other and we're both a little crazy. You were listening to the intro. I know you were.
Yes.
So tell me, what's your take on all of what I just said?
Um, well, actually, I agree a lot with what you said. I don't think that you're really far off. And I don't think that a lot of people will disagree with you as far as the view of social media is concerned, because there is a lot of, social media has been inundated with like influencers. And I like to say, like, for, when I'm thinking about my kids, it's a lot of comparison, so there's a lot of this fake reality that's out there, and it's really disturbing. Um, so yeah, I mean, I completely agree. So it's like, how do we approach social media from a business perspective where we can actually reach, customers and clients, and we can actually be real people, but actually I think that that could be an opportunity more than a challenge. So that's kind of where I stand with
I
it.
totally agree. Uh, Now, if we do it, if just you and I partner and we take the opportunity to do that, that's one step. But we
Hmm.
can't do it alone. A lot of people have to take that same initiative. And I also think
Right.
social platforms would benefit greatly by more real and more authentic than all this fake. I mean, these influencers or even wannabe influencers. I mean, let's face it, most of them are wannabe influencers. Uh,
Hmm.
in general, and they're striving. Oh, I've got like 500,000 followers. That's awesome, and none of them care about what you had for breakfast.
Right.
And if they do, what's wrong with their life?
I was just going to
And
say
no
some of
offense, if you're
them.
listening and you feel a little
Yeah.
bit offended by me saying something like that, I'm really sorry. But really, there's so much more to your life than watching somebody else get dressed in the morning. I don't care. Wait, let me have some coffee.
Well, I was just gonna say, I mean, some of them do. Like, some people really do love to know what. Oh, look at, I have my coffee too. They love to know what other people are eating and drinking and how they're exercising, but that's because they've created this fake reality of who they are, and the person watching sometimes is just like, oh, I just want to be a better me or a different me,
Right.
So I think that that's why they do it. But
I
yeah,
totally want to do like these little short video clips, like what happens when they're on camera versus what happens when they're off camera, and do a parody.
yes,
It would be
yes.
hysterical.
There's
Hey,
actually
it would go viral.
your goals, right? Goals. There's actually a woman, and I can't remember her name, but she'll post two pictures of herself sometimes. She'll post the pre makeup picture and the post makeup picture. And she's like, just a reminder, this was me an hour ago. And this is the real me. This
I
is
love
the me
that.
for you on the internet, on social media. And so I'm like, oh, I love that because it's real, you know.
Not to tangent too far. Since my kids were born, especially my girls, I have two girls and a boy. I try to instill in them that they're beautiful just the way they are. Like,
Hmm.
you don't need to change. You don't need to do all these things that you see in advertising. You can be
Hmm.
yourself, and it's beautiful starts from inside and it works its way out. And then, of course, my oldest actually followed that tactic. It's awesome what she's doing. My youngest is starting to slide into, oh, I have to put makeup on. Oh, I have to do this. I said, you don't have to. And she's not listening because of the circle of influence she has around her.
Hmm.
So that's, bringing it back home. Social media is a circle of influence. Whoever you
Hmm.
follow and wherever people that you're connected with are the ones that are influencing you.
Right.
I would be cautious about that and look at your children, look at what they're looking at, and not to preach. And I don't mean to do that. It's just, as a marketing professional, I find it is our responsibility to do things ethically and understanding that we can affect change, that we affect behavior in consumers. And it's a big responsibility. And I find a lot of people don't take it very seriously.
Hmm. I agree.
So anyway, all right, soapbox out the window. Let's get back. So Laura, I find it really interesting that there's been a real major shift regarding there's no new platform coming out in social. And it's been
Yeah.
like that for quite a while. And I wonder why, because remember the beginning, everybody was going head to head and they were fighting really hard. Oh, Facebook came out and then, all these other platforms started, oh, I can do that. That's not happening anymore.
Hmm.
It's almost like there's a monopoly in the works, and I don't
Yeah.
want to be the conspiracy theorist here. And there's other platforms, there's other things that people use on a smaller basis.
Right.
There are, but the top three, one company owns two of them,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So not to, if we get cut off, Facebook has more power than we think. I'm just going to tell you. So I get nervous about that because I think consumers need and deserve versatility and to be able to make different choices. When it comes to advertising dollars, we look at that. We don't like buying into monopolies. We're very careful about it
Hmm.
because there are some companies that have more strength than others, obviously. So, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the same concept as, you know, Google. All these other search engines are trying to compete, and there's just no competition. And I just feel like it's the same. It's the same with Facebook and Instagram. They're both owned by Meta. And then we've got, we've got LinkedIn, and TikTok is a big one.
We'll get there.
Yeah. TikTok's a big one. So, yeah, I can't imagine what else could come out that would add any more, if you want to say value. I'm
Yeah,
trying to be
right,
positive here, but
right.
if you want to say value, I really don't know what else could come out, because I know that Meta has come out with a while ago, like virtual meetings, like virtual reality meetings. So like our kids, we have a, what is that called? Like an Oculus,
The headset. Mhm.
the headset, And I'm actually kind of interested. I kind of want to do the virtual reality meeting with other people just to see what it's like. But I mean, other than that, the purpose of social media was to connect people. So what else can we do to connect it aside from like a hologram? I don't know. I've got I've
Right.
got no clue.
I just think there's variations. I'm surprised that nobody came out with something. Usually, I mean, if you follow trends over the years, like history repeats itself, there's always
Hmm.
the next competitor, and there hasn't been a competitor in some time.
Right.
So I guess where I'm going is I'm wondering where will social media be in 5 years or 10 years?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
will it fade out? Will it turn into something different, or worse?
Yeah. I
There
don't
will
know.
be a big
Well, I
meltdown.
mean, now that we have, artificial intelligence is like the hot topic now, I know that social media is going to change. The whole landscape is going to change, but probably I feel like for the worse than for the better. It's already had its, you know, downhill like snowball of negative effects of social media in some senses. So, but I can see it changing with artificial intelligence. How exactly do I see it changing? Well, you know, I guess we can dive more into that later. But when it comes to, we've got, like bots, and we've got fake accounts, and we've got, people who are representing themselves as being real and they're not. I just see I see that expanding in the future. And
Yeah.
so,
What's the movie trilogy? It's futuristic. I'm totally blanking out on the name. My
Back
girls
to the
love
Future.
it.
Oh, just
No, no,
kidding.
no. It's newer, and the female lead, the hero, she's an archer, and she has to
Oh,
each town has to
Hunger
compete against
Games.
other towns. Hunger Games, right? That's what
Yes.
social media
Yeah.
reminds me of. In front of the camera, it's like what the woman who is like her wardrobe person, and in front of the camera, she's this glamorous thing, and behind camera, she's a hot mess. It's all
Well,
fake. It's
hopefully
all
we
not
don't get to
real.
that point.
Yeah, well, we're not far
Is that
away.
where we're going?
That's that's where I don't want to be going. It's
Mm.
kind of my point. I want to. You said TikTok before. We touched on it, and I don't want our episode to get away without mentioning this. I'm going to forecast something, so I'll have it officially on record. I've been saying it for a few months. People think I'm crazy. I believe TikTok is going to leave us sooner than later. My reason is, well, we all know what's going on, that it's actually China has information. They're able to pull information and data outside of by using TikTok. So everybody's ignoring it because people aren't stopping TikTok. I believe the
Hmm.
reason, because we're all selfish, people are making money on it. People are using it to their own edification. Whatever it is, they're just not stopping yet, but they will soon.
Hmm.
With all that stuff going on in the world escalating, and I'm not being political, don't get mad. I think TikTok is going to be a thing of the past, kind of like what MySpace did to us over time. That is my forecast. If I'm
Hmm.
wrong, I'll be wrong, but I can't imagine it getting through this mess that's about to happen. What do you
Yeah.
think?
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, I don't know though, because there are so many people that love TikTok. There's so many people, like you said, just like
Yeah.
selfishly just sit there. And I will admit to you in front of all these people that I have had those moments that I actually took TikTok off my phone, but I scrolled TikTok for maybe I'm gonna say 2 hours. I couldn't sleep in the middle of the night, and I just kept scrolling. And when you scroll TikTok, actually, there's an ad that pops up and it says, "Hey, you've been on here for a long time. Have you thought about closing the app?"
Wow.
They actually have that, and I'm like, "Yeah, I know." And then I just kept scrolling. And so that's part of the reason why I took it off my phone. But I mean, I think a lot of people just try to escape reality. They can't sleep, having a hard
Yeah.
day or whatever, and all they want to do is laugh. So I mean, my TikTok's just full of comedy, animals, just cheesy, stupid stuff that makes me smile.
I
But
think at some point there'll be a social
yeah, I,
media
I think it would be,
anonymous.
I don't know, I feel
You
like it might be
watch.
hard for people to let go.
It's
I don't know.
coming.
Yeah,
Excuse me. Okay. So we need to move on.
yeah.
We can go a lot deeper on that topic, but I'm going to walk away from it. So um, Laura, knowing what I know about you, uh, I want you to give our listeners some basic tips on just one-on-one kind of stuff of things that they can do to manage their platforms, ways that they can build engagement and improve their following, just simple
Mhm.
tips.
Sure, sure. Yeah. So for
Cool.
yeah, as far with what we were talking about just previously, people want to see real. People want to see, if you own a business, one of my biggest tips is to just be real, show your value, show how you're set apart from everybody else, why people would want to choose you. So I mean, when it comes to just this is just kind of a top level thing, but when it comes to like a marketing agency, for example, there are a lot of marketing agencies out there. There's some that do really well and bring great results and some that don't, but even the ones that bring great results, we all bring something to the table. We all can attract specific people that we're going to want to work with, that are going to enjoy working with us. So that goes with any business. So first of all, I think one of the easiest things to do is to utilize, sometimes I hate to say this, but utilizing, Facebook and Instagram. Meta has been making a lot of changes within the program, where you have Facebook Business Suite. So I don't know if a lot of people have actually used that, but Facebook Business Suite is where you can manage your Facebook and your Instagram at the same time. You can look at comments, you can look at news feeds, you can comment like on other people that you're following, other companies that you're following as your business. And so that's a great way to utilize a tool that most people are on most times of the day. So, it's funny because there used to be, okay, we're going to look at the analytics of social and we're going to look at, all right, most people are going to be online at 6 o'clock in the morning on a Tuesday. And it was really easy to define what time your audience was
Mm-hmm.
on Facebook or Instagram. Well, now it's a little hard to tell because people are on there constantly,
Right.
constantly. So, but the benefit of that is that that they're on there, right? So using um, Facebook Business Suite to be able to post your content regularly, consistently, you can schedule it out. They actually have this really cool tool um, if you have these specific regular hashtags that you use, it'll actually store the hashtags in there for you to easily go back and look quickly. You can search hashtags and the amount of posts per hashtag. When it comes to posting, you want to make sure that you're using. There might be a hashtag that only has maybe 200,000 posts, right? Then there's another hashtag that has 2 million. You want to do like you want to use a general mix of hashtags for discoverability purposes. Okay. So it has all those great tools in it. And what? I see you
I'm
laughing.
I'm laughing because there's times I see people posting, and they've got like 25, 30 hashtags.
You
The hashtags are
don't need that
longer
many.
than the comment that they're saying.
Yeah, you
They
don't
say
need
like
that.
five
You
words in the
don't
comment
need that
and there's
many.
35 hashtags. I was like, stop.
Yeah, no, no,
People
no,
just
no.
stop.
Yeah, stop. People stop. You don't need that many. I want to say, I feel like they're always changing. It used to be that you needed to max it out, 30
Right,
hashtags. Now
right,
they're saying anywhere between like 7 and 12 at the most. Like,
right.
don't do too many. And make sure, I mean, hashtags are keywords. It's search. I'm just saying.
That's the hardest
So,
part about all this. It's not um, any of the marketing tools that we use, anything, even not even just
yeah.
social media, they all evolve. And
Yes.
in today, since a lot of these are digital assets, even television and radio, there's programmatic audio and there's
Hmm.
over the top, which is streaming video. They're
Hmm.
digital. So all
Yeah.
these products that we have evolve so quickly that if you do the same thing again and again, like on autopilot, which a lot of companies
Hmm.
do. A lot of
Hmm.
these marketing companies, they just set it and forget it. And if that's what
Hmm.
happens, your marketing is going to fail.
Yeah.
Over time, if you're not staying totally current with what's going on, you'll be putting 30, 40 hashtags in a 5-word post.
Out of desperation. And that
Which
is not
right.
the bread and butter. Hashtags are
It's
not
not.
the bread and butter. It's just a little ingredient in the whole recipe, So, yeah. So, talking about, even like engagement and things like that, you can't just set it and forget it. You can't just like schedule it out because that's one of my big things is like, okay, well, you know, if you're going to go ahead and create social media, you're going to create it for, you can create social media for a month in just an hour. If you have all your assets and everything that you need, you can,
Yep.
there's different ways that you can cut it down. You can, you're batching your time, you're in the mood, you're in the flow and you're going. But if you're just going to create your images and your captions and get your hashtags and then you schedule it out for the month and then you never revisit it, what's the point? Facebook's not stupid. They know. They know what you're doing. They know exactly what you're doing because when you're posting, you're not engaging with other people. So I was just going to say that's one big thing that people can do is make sure that you're checking into your page or your account every day. Make sure that you're checking in, make sure that you're going through the news feed of the people that your business or you follow and you're commenting and you're being genuine. The only way that people are going to be engaging with you and the way that you are going to have more impressions on different accounts is that you are the one acting on other accounts.
Hmm.
Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, they all know. They all know if you're just, looking for attention, you're just looking for sales versus actually having relationships. And that's the one thing that I think maybe this is where social media came from was to have relationship,
I agree.
right? Yeah.
Yep.
So, you know.
It's about building relationship. It always has
Yes.
been. It is. That's what the tool's meant for. We try to, when the Great Recession happened, even national brands tried to use social media as a replacement for direct response advertising. It
Hmm.
failed
Yeah.
abysmally. I mean, maybe a year they tried and said, "Oh my gosh, we have to go back to a little bit of what we're doing," because everybody was trying to save money.
Hmm.
That's not the answer. There's other ways to do that. So you
Hmm.
said something a few minutes ago. I want to segue us to a question. It's probably a softball. I kind of know your answer, but how do you feel about automation, bots, and stuff like that?
Hate it.
Yeah,
Hated it. Yeah. I mean, I know that there are some situations, some circumstances where automation is obviously, I'm not anti automation, very
right.
much about
There's aspects
automation.
of it
Anything
that
that's
for multiple touches and sales that it can be
correct.
effective. Agreed. Right.
Correct. You have a set system. It can help save you time, but again, it can also allow you to let your opportunities just pass you by,
Right.
you know. So, yeah. And
I get
bots,
every
yeah.
single day. I get hit up as a business owner. I get hit up with multiple salespeople trying to hit me, and it's mostly automation. And I kind of
Oh
giggle.
yeah.
I save some of them. The ones that are really bad, I save them in our wall of shame.
Mhm.
because they're not really speaking to me. It's just general outreach. And then they contradict what they said the previous time. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
wow, I was
Mm-hmm.
like, this is
Well,
just bad bots, bad
well, not
bots.
to mention I had the bot that came from James Danella. I don't know if you remember that.
I do.
Laura, Laura, I need this assignment done now. Please send me your phone number. I'm like, wait, this is not James. And I look and it's like
Not me.
Crystal at imabot.com, you know? Like,
That's right.
I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, can
Yeah,
they get
spammers do
smarter?
that all the time.
Yes. Yeah. That's
It's
funny.
really sad. And some people fall for it,
Yes, they do.
unfortunately,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know. So
Yeah.
I'm not a fan. And because if you're listening, the reason we're not a fan, if you're connecting the dots, is because it doesn't build relationship in any way, shape, or form. And part of what marketing does is build relationship with your consumer. It makes an emotional connection to the brand. That's the point. Oh, there's no such thing as brand loyalty anymore, James. Yes, there is when it's done well.
Mm-hmm.
When it's done poorly, you're right. And then there's that um, little soapbox. There's that today's dollar versus that tomorrow's dollar. If all you're doing is lead gen and you're bringing in business today and you think you're doing great and you're constantly growing today, that is awesome. But the company and the brand will not build. It won't. 5 years from now, you'll still be chasing those same dollars every single day. And maybe that's all you need for your business. You don't want anything more. You don't want to see it grow. You don't want to sell it someday for more money than you put into it when you started. Then that's fine. That's your choice. But the companies that really want to see growth, you need to build relationships. Your consumer needs to buy into your brand specifically. And if you can't do that, oh, James, but wait, on a that only works on a national level with millions and millions of dollars. And I'm going to tell you that that is not true.
Mm-hmm.
That Laura and I and our team and we use those tactics every single day for clients we serve to build those brands to be successful and to grow. Do you have a PA that wants to step into the frame?
Mm-hmm.
It's totally fine. Don't worry about it. It's just it's us and it's part of life. So
It is.
all right, so let's go on. We know how we feel about automation. I won't park there. Let's talk about various types of posts and reels and can you just shed some light and explain, because I'll tell you the truth, if I wasn't in our industry, I would not be paying attention because all these social platforms would just get me upset because it's
Right.
not real and I'm very real.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, tons of different types of posts. So, I think what everybody knows, video, 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 video. So, reels are a very popular type of posts that people like to use, but it's important to do it properly. So, we've got videos. We have videos versus reels. Those are actually two completely different things. We have
Explain
here.
that.
So reels, for example. So well, maybe I should rephrase that, because now what used to be able to happen is we used to be able to post any video, period, especially a video that was like, well, I guess maybe I am answering my own rebuttal. Um, um, so a reel is a video like on Facebook and Instagram that's short, and I think it needs to be like, oh, they change it. Either it's 2 minutes or less or 90 seconds or less.
Yeah,
I think
I
it
think
just
it's 90
depends on the
seconds.
platform. I think it's 90 seconds, yeah. But they keep increasing it. So that's why I always question myself. But yeah, so that's a reel. And that's typically filmed like portrait versus, landscape, horizontal, versus a video that could go on, like for an hour, 45 minutes. You could post either way, but the shorter the better. So, reels really are the way to go if you're trying to catch somebody's attention. Nobody's going to watch anything really longer than, you know, you got to grab them within like 3 to 5 seconds for one.
Right.
But to keep everything under 30 seconds, ideally like maybe 15, something like that. That's just my opinion. But um, so we've got reels, and then we've got carousels, which those still work. Those work on me. I think it just depends on the person. Being in marketing, I'm always wanting to learn. So, for example, like on LinkedIn, I'm flipping through carousels constantly. May or may not be screenshotting. Like I love them. I love carousels. So those contain a lot of information. Those are for specific types of people, nerdy
Well,
people
as a
like me.
reels sell me. They do. I will
They do.
actually make a purchase if it's a product or even
Yeah.
a service at times. I will lean in.
Yeah.
On Facebook though, like when I see the ads, the sponsorships, they don't get me ever.
Yeah.
Not once. I don't know. It's probably the format or I just see it coming.
Yeah.
Reels feel more organic and more authentic.
Yes, for
That's
sure they
probably
do.
why.
Yeah.
And just a
Yeah.
little tip for people. You don't need to have a Hollywood production for you. And I know some of my video crews out there stress when I say this, but you don't have to spend a lot of money when it comes to reels and even short video clips that go in your social platforms. Um,
Mhm.
it can be organic. I mean, your camera can shoot 4K now. You can do real simple stuff and still have
Mhm.
it be engaging. Now, the content's up to you, and that's a whole nother conversation. But as far as the production value, don't go crazy. Keep it
Yeah.
authentic, keep it simple. If you
Mhm.
try to overdo it and do too much light and fake the audio and do all kinds of things, if you're not a professional in the industry, you may not do it that well. You're just hurting yourself. Keep it real.
Yeah.
Consumer wants real. Just keep saying it,
Yep. For sure.
right? So, what
That's
about
it.
the other type? I know that you and I have been cohorts in some campaigns that we've used video in other types of posts other than reels that have been very successful. Simple, less
Mhm.
than 2 minute tips, ideas, somebody
Yep.
talking to camera, somebody doing an explanation of, a project, in various industries. And we saw it engage and skyrocket. I mean, hundreds and hundreds of people were looking at this, and then the company would benefit. They started to take off
Mhm.
and we were scratching our heads going, I can't believe that worked. You know,
Yeah.
it speaks to what we're talking about. They were
Right.
real, they were simple,
Exactly.
um,
And
and that's what
that's what
consumers want.
I was just going to say, that's what people are looking for. So now there's the opportunity for so much more video versus like a static post. Static posts are not out the window. I mean, static posts for
Right.
sure, whether it's like a photo of something going on inside the business, behind the scenes, photos are great. Me personally, I enjoy like quotes and things like that. Those are great as well. But because I don't know, maybe because we're creatures of habit and we're constantly wanting instant gratification. Well, a video, like an explainer video or like some kind of like surprise or something that's going to make us laugh or inspire us or make us cry, something that's going to like really touch us. A video is going to do that more than, you know, a static post. So, video is definitely the way to go.
What about just plain text? How do you feel about that today?
You know what? I've seen a lot. It's funny because I've seen a lot of case studies just on plain text, and it scares me. The case studies, it works, but it does scare me.
So, for listeners, you've probably heard me talk about this before that marketing is a little bit of art, a little bit of math, and it's also a little bit of science, behavioral science. So, back in back in my day, uh, when you look at, let's use newsprint, for example. So newsprint was always black and white. And then eventually they allowed color. Yes, I go back to plain black and white
Oh
print.
my
Have a
goodness.
problem with that? No, you don't.
Just kidding.
So when color ads came out, ooh, they're different. And they popped because everything else was black and white. Of course, everybody got on the bandwagon and then everything was color. So then it was kind of funny. We started going back to black and white ads because we wanted to be different.
Hmm.
Right. So, in my opinion, that's what I think is happening in social posts today. I think
Hmm.
everybody's doing video. Everybody has to have a photo, has to have image, has to have graphics. What if you just did a simple post?
Yeah.
Try it. Don't do it exclusively. Do a variety of things, and then take a look at your data and see which posts are really doing it for you. Maybe your following wants simple.
Yeah.
You've got to test it. Don't set it and forget it. Don't just assume you have to do reels all the time or things with photos all the time because that's what everybody's doing and that's what everybody says you have to do. That is not true.
Yeah. Well, and I think it also just depends on your industry. Like, again, I'm on LinkedIn a lot. And what do I see? It's just,
Uh-huh.
you know, one sentence or two, maybe. No photo, no video, no link, and those are the ones that get a lot of attention.
Okay,
So,
well, you went and said it. So now we have to
what?
talk about LinkedIn.
Oh no. Oh, okay.
So again, listeners, I came from New York originally. Most of my career was in New York, and I moved to Nashville almost 4 years ago now. And it's interesting. Like I find that in Nashville, more businesses focus on Facebook and want to engage on Facebook versus LinkedIn. And I don't get it. Like
Mhm.
I'll be out at a networking event and I'll connect with somebody, and that same day they're trying to connect with me on Facebook. I'm like, Facebook is like my personal world.
Right.
It's where my kids are. It's where, I go to their games, and that's a little stalky. If I don't know you well, I probably am not letting you into my Facebook world.
Yeah.
I want you in my LinkedIn world because it's professional. I
Mhm.
separate professional and personal. Now, yes, I could go and set up a professional page on Facebook and a personal page and privatize some of my secret political and religious rants that none of you ever get to see or hear and all that kind of stuff. But I'm wondering why that is. Is it just that the market hasn't caught up to other parts of the world? That because LinkedIn is
Mhm.
where business professionals engage and connect, not
Yeah.
Facebook. So what do
Right.
you think about that? Because I scratch my head every day.
Yeah. Actually, I completely agree with you. I think that a lot of people just haven't really caught up, you know. What
You think it's that? Okay.
I do too. One thing I don't like about LinkedIn is the in mail.
Mm-hmm.
I despise the in mail.
Yeah, most people use it as spam.
It is so much spam. So I mean,
Mm-hmm.
some people they could try LinkedIn, and go, okay, I'm going to go on here, I'm going to make some connections or whatever, and all they're getting is spam, 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 spam in their inbox.
Right, which comes
You
from
know?
the majority of these LinkedIn experts
Yeah.
that that people pay way too much money for and get zero results.
Yes. I was never one of those.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
We move on.
Yeah. So
All
no,
right.
yeah,
Well,
I agree. I think people just, they automatically think Facebook, 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 but that's also, there's a lot of businesses that utilize Facebook so much. Your business is being tagged in Facebook versus being tagged in LinkedIn. Facebook is where community typically is. So I think that's just why people automatically go to that.
yeah, we may have to double back and do another episode and just do a whole thing on LinkedIn and almost like a little mini training session and talk about how you can do it organically, how you can do the paid
Hmm.
version, how you can use the professional version. Just
Hmm.
just talk about LinkedIn for marketing for business professionals to
Yeah.
use it as a tool because I'm sure there's other markets as well that I haven't beat up yet that also are not using LinkedIn very effectively.
Hmm.
And no, I don't make money. LinkedIn doesn't pay me to say this, and I just think it's a really great tool and an alternative instead of using Facebook and Instagram all the time if you are a business.
Yeah.
Something we didn't touch on was when it comes to like reputation management and PR and things like that.
Hmm.
So there's times that we've both seen clients get attacked in social media. The Karens of the world, the one percenters
Yeah.
that no matter what the client does, they could be standing on their head naked. It doesn't make a difference. They cannot please the person. Um, talk out tactics. I know mine. So talk out your tactics of what you would do to help that client in that situation.
Yeah. Well, there's something that's really beautiful about Facebook, um, is, I have encountered, the Karens that are commenting and saying negative things that you don't normally typically want other people to see. First of all, you can't always take those as an opportunity depending upon the severity of the comment and the Karen. Okay. You can always take that opportunity, just like with like a Google review or whatever, of responding in a very professional way, of being able to um, resolve the issue so that other people can see that you're for the customer or the client. You're not, against them. But then, of course, there's some situations where there's spam from somebody and things like that that you don't want the whole world to see. But what do you do? Do you delete their comment? Like, do you, and then make them more mad and make them come after you while you're working? Um, so for Facebook, usually what I'll do, especially if it's a comment in Facebook that I've encountered, is you can actually hide a comment as a business profile. Um, so when you hide a comment, you are allowing that person that left that comment to still see it. They can still see that their comment's there. You did not delete it, but you're hiding it from the rest of your audience. You're hiding it from the rest of the people that can actually see that post and that comment, so that you don't have to, ruffle anybody's feathers. Um, that's typically something that I suggest for, somebody who might be spamming repetitively. And you can also block them from your page if you want to go that far.
That's good
But yeah,
advice.
typically I just hide. So
Yeah, we generally want the client to acknowledge the conversation and offer to have a more in-depth conversation with them offline to
right.
discuss what their grievance is.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the idea is get it off of social media, first of all.
Mm-hmm.
Show your followers that you are willing to deal with it,
Mm-hmm.
and have a deeper conversation. And if there's really a problem, help them solve the problem. Now, you have to be the company that actually does try to stand behind your work and solve the problem. This is the only way this will work. If you're doing it just as a shameless tactic, it will fail abysmally. Don't do it. But the idea is then if the Karen of the world posts again and just wants to be combative with you, you can dismiss them, and your followers in general will dismiss that kind of a person. They
Mm-hmm.
will, um, and then it gets to a point that you can delete them after a certain amount of time. It's like, great, you're gone. I'm
Mm-hmm.
done with you. Same kind of thing as what we would do in other platforms, and even in Google My Business. When we
Mm-hmm.
have reviews, I think we do a really good job protecting our clients from stuff like that, even in how
Yes.
we combine our efforts together.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so my last question of the day is more of a forecast. Like if you had your crystal ball out, where do you see social media going from here?
Mm-hmm. Um, I think that I think I kind of touched on it earlier, like this whole artificial intelligence. I kind of see it going in that direction. As far as we're probably going to see, like, I don't want to say, is faker even a word? We're going to see even like more fake content,
Faker.
faker content. We're going to see more fake content in my opinion. I feel like people are just going to be trying to utilize that and compete with each other, and we're going to see a lot of the same things over and over and over again. Um,
Yeah.
so you know,
So to me, that doesn't. I don't get all
does
warm
that
and
not touch
fuzzy.
on what you're thinking?
No, I honestly I don't see its future. Normally, so been in the industry so long, I can tell what's going to happen next in general with
Hmm.
most media. Everybody was nervous when web first came along. Don't say it, Laura, just don't. When TV, radio, print people were freaking out saying, "Oh my gosh, the world's coming to an end or the sky is falling or whatever." They got scared. And I was like,
Yeah.
it's just going to evolve. And it did. And it just evolved. And none of that went away. And even now, exclusive digital marketers, oh, traditional media is dead. It is not dead. It is changing.
Mm-mm.
It'll
Right.
evolve to be digital. I mean, broadcast television will not go away until the NFL decides to not broadcast on television,
Right.
period.
Yeah.
And until then, we have broadcast. And it will happen. But when it happens, we're still streaming. What is the difference? You're still watching television and we're still advertising to you. So it's the same thing. It just evolves. When it
Hmm.
comes to social media, I don't see, you're right. It probably will be AI, but to me, that's not a step forward.
Right.
It's like that lateral step and maybe a step backwards, and maybe it'll be the
Yeah.
beginning of the death of social. Who knows?
Hmm.
I know we have to use it as a platform. I know it's a tool in the arsenal for every client that we serve currently, uh, to different scales, of course. If you're listening, you have to use social media. I would recommend it if you need. It's a cost-effective way to have exposure and build engagement and relationship. Yada 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 yada.
Hmm.
And there's other things you can do in there as well. Uh, but what you said just reinforces what I think because
Hmm.
I don't see its future effectively. I don't see new competition coming to combat what's out there, which is usually a sign of things like that. Usually there's something new and exciting.
Right.
Um, I'm kind of hoping that it's not the existing platforms that just keep evolving. I want to see a new platform come with new bells and whistles and maybe a better way for us to interact with one another. It's,
But I
I don't
don't
think we're
know.
going to get there.
I was just going to say, how is that going to? There's people with money that are in charge, so I just don't see it
Yeah,
happening,
lots of money.
so,
Yeah,
but, on a positive note though, like talking about um, how, we're kind of going into the way of artificial intelligence and people are going to think, oh, this is just going to be an easier way to create content and post and blah, blah, blah. And there's all this fakeness. And we're talking about the fakeness that already exists in social media, but that's such a good opportunity for those who are real because people want to see real
agreed.
so bad, so I would just encourage that for business owners, you know, don't let us be Debbie Downers. It's not like social media isn't like down the tubes. Like you can be the one in your community,
Correct.
especially I guess for more small businesses, you can be the ones in your community that are active, you know, partaking in, the Chamber of Commerce and community activities where you're tagged in Facebook and they're just real pictures of real companies doing
Right.
real things, so.
Well, be the consumer for a second. So here we are. Now, these are two marketers that we've been doing this for some time. Our perspective on this, of where it is. Now, we're
Mhm.
telling you to be real and be authentic. So if we're saying it, there has to be some truth to it. So look
Mhm.
at it from that perspective. And then just put yourself in the consumer's chair. Do you want to
Mhm.
be sold to anymore? Do you want fake? You
Right.
don't. You are looking for the things that we're talking about, but yet you may not be doing those things yourself when you market yourself. So
Yeah.
look at it, outside in if you can, if you have the ability, or hire a professional to help you. But hopefully they're guiding you in the right direction. If try it, just try it as an A/B test. A/B tests in marketing are common. Do something with bells, whistles, fake, and then do something that's real and
Mhm.
see the difference and watch the engagement. And if we're wrong, please jump on and tell us.
Yeah.
If you go to the link, you can see there's ways to connect with me and the marketing perspective. It will not be a shameless sales pitch to tell you about my firm. If you notice, I didn't even give you the name of our marketing firm in this conversation. That is not what marketing perspective is about. It is about educating you, the listener, and engaging you. And hopefully someday we have a conversation and you can laugh because Laura and I were a little bit crazy today on the show. Just a little bit.
Just a
Offline,
little.
it gets a lot crazier. So
It's
we
kind
were
of
being
early for
good.
me still, so.
I know it's early and I've already had 2 cups of coffee, so I'm ready to go. Maybe we do another version of the episode and let them see the deeper dive, but that
Yeah.
might be for another time. Laura, any closing thoughts?
Uh, no, I think just to be encouraging people to be real. I think that was it.
Yeah.
That's all I
Yeah,
got.
I liked it. You kind of nailed it. I wanted to drop the mic right there, but me, I like to go on and on and on. All right, people, thank you very much for listening today. I hope you get excited about our second season, adding video. I'm not sure what it's going to do for us, but you tell us what you like and what you don't like. We got to see Laura's shiny face, which was awesome. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to download the episodes. It is an awesome way to say you love us. Laura, thank you very much for your time today. I appreciate it. I will see you very, very soon.
Yes, thanks for having me.
All right, y'all have a great day.